One of the biggest mistakes I made in my first acquisition was that I brought on the person to run the day to day before I even closed on the business. I actually brought them in between signing my LOI, which is letter of intent, and before my purchase agreement. And I did that mainly because I was trying to bring in that expert to kind of help me understand and do the due diligence of should we even buy this business. But I probably could have hired that pretty easily with just hiring a consultant or networking through LinkedIn or asking friends and family that had a marketing background. But I brought that person in too soon. And I'm going to tell you the lesson that I learned. So, in coming to find out, the seller themselves was really a lot of the business. They were project management, they were doing business development, they were doing sales, but their background was account management. So they'd done a lot of sales. I mean, that was basically their entire background before they bought the company. And so my partner, who I brought in, was actually more of a creative person. Really, really good creative, really great on brand and strategy and project management, but had never sold and had never done business development. And so in that first acquisition, what I realized was that, wow, like we need to hire that. And that was a cost I didn't factor in. And so in hindsight, I would have much rather brought in a partner or someone to run my day to day that actually had a little bit more of that experience. So we wouldn't have to go and hire that out and actually see a decline in revenue before it started to pick back up. And so, key message for you guys is really to identify if you can wait to hire that person to run your day to day until after you close. Have the seller run the day to day, continue to run the operations as if they still own the business, giving you time to sit on top of the business and learn about all the key aspects, especially what the seller's doing. That's going to give you a huge advantage of bringing in the right person that's going to fill that gap of the seller more so than have to learn it the hard way, which is, wow, we don't have the right person and now I've got to go spend more or change that person out. And it becomes really costly. So that was a big lesson learned from my first acquisition.